everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to another episode of Scott Campbell's lessons on window painting and drawing. And this week I'm doing a pencil character since it's back to school. And this character I love. I use him a lot. I even have a tattoo. I don't know if you guys noticed, of a pencil. Oh, there it is. Anyway, I just go ahead and I think here I'm just using I don't know if this is a blue Col-Erase pencil or what this is. Actually, I don't think it's that either. Let me see what it is. Just a second. I'm gonna go down here. I just dropped it. Where'd it go? Okay. Actually, this is it right here. It is a Albrecht Dürer Faber-Castell, Germany. That's what that is. And doesn't have an eraser on it. It's not really super good for erasing, but I don't erase much on this stuff anyway because I'm just getting in the main thing. And like I said before, it's not a finished sketch. Oh, and then the lines I put down, I put a line in the middle and then the two lines on the side, so it has 4 sections running down the pencil. And then I use that as a guide, kind of. This is sort of a Hanna-Barbera looking character. Looks like Fred Flintstone almost. And it's pretty fast, pretty easy to sketch. And I guess you could put legs on them too, but I don't usually do that. And sometimes I just leave them like this without arms. But here I'm going to go ahead and put arms on them. I use that method pretty much like animators use. I use different shapes and stuff and kind of build it, like three-dimensionally. Like that Walter Foster book. This sucker. And talk about that. If you haven't seen that before, then get your hands on that. It's the animation by Preston Blair. Learn how to draw animated cartoons. I think I talked about that before. So I'm doing his hands, and here I kind of put the line in, and I made his arm a little bit too low. I kind of go across, and I ended up making the top of that the bottom of it. It fits better. So I don't know if I'm going to do any other back to school characters. I might. I'm actually working on my ebook right now, my new ebook. It's going to be a back to school sketchbook, but not just back to school. It's going to be fall characters like owls and squirrels and foxes and trees and things like that. And it will have pumpkins in too, but not jack-o'-lanterns. There's no Halloween in this one because I have the Halloween sketchbook. So I'm almost done with this guy. You can also make him, instead of just having a jiggly line at the bottom, you can have him saying, something, or words going across, like back to school, like he's writing it in cursive or something. And then I'm doing some motion lines here. Like he's flying across the page. So as usual, I get out my roller, my 4-inch roller. It's a lint-free, I think it's a Wooster brand. People that are new to the channel probably wouldn't know that information, but if you've seen my videos, I've gone over that before. And the lines, the vertical lines, I make them kind of bent. It just gives it more flair, kind of more animated, instead of like getting a ruler out or snapping a chalk line and making perfectly straight lines. I try to make my stuff more animated by having different curves and stuff. And it's, it's subtle how it comes down, but it does help. So I went ahead and drew the face out in the wet paint. Now I'm just doing the second coat. And then I've got my little jar of yellow. I got this at Lowe's, and it was like, I think $3 or $4 for a little tiny container. I'll probably buy a quart next time because I went through all my white and all through my yellow. So next time, for next week's video, I'm going to have to pick up some more yellow paint. But I'm just laying it in. But this is, they actually had the Sherwin-Williams color, the one I use, Confident Yellow, which is pretty cool. And here what I'm doing too is I'm kind of laying it in thick because I don't want to do a second coat. Like on some colors, sometimes you do a second coat, sometimes you don't. It's all just depends on the color, especially like grays and stuff that have a lot of white in them, and like light blue and stuff like that. You can get away with one coat. Yellow, usually you can't always do that, but like I said, I'm laying it in really thick. And unlike the last week's video, I'm doing this one all in real time. I think last time I sped it up like slightly. But this is a more simple character than the previous 3 videos, the previous lessons. So I could afford to do it in real time. And the GoPro does skew it a little, but I do like the GoPro, the quality of it. But sometimes I use my camcorder too, or I use my phone. But here I'm just kind of, like I said, laying it in thick. I've got to get some more brushes too, because this is like my last outlining brush, and I'm using it for doing shadows now. Because I'm getting more, it's almost like I'm just basically outlining it. And then on the bottom I do it a little bit thicker. But then I outline it with black too. But when I was working as a commercial window painter, I act like that was so long ago. When I was working as a commercial window painter, I used the foam brushes a lot because they're quicker and I turn them on end. But this is fun to do because then I get these really clean, thick and thin shadow lines. Of course, I don't have to do any highlights on the white, which is nice. That's why I like doing snowman. So I'm just working on his hands and arms, and I'm trying to get really close in so you can kind of get the feel of what I'm doing and how I'm working the brush. But yeah, it's really a bummer because Utrecht used to have these brushes. Now I did replace my flats that I use for outlining thicker things and also for lettering. I got the MAC 162 brushes, and I use all 4 of them. And I need to order some more of those. But the smaller brush, I did try to order something from MAC that I thought would be good. One of my problems is that I'm plant-based, so I don't buy any, hair brushes. So I'm more limited. I have to go for synthetic brushes, and that's what this is. And the MAC 162 are synthetic brushes. It's golden Taklon, and I can use those for outlining too, especially if I'm doing big stuff. And you'll see me using it here too. But the smaller brush, what I was about to say is the smaller brush is the one, I guess they're like chisel tips. Or like I guess they call them like riggers, or riggers have more of a point to them. But I did find a MAC brush that I wanted to order that was synthetic. It was called a Mac Meyer mop, and it had that chisel tip on it, and then it said out of stock. So I don't know if they discontinued it, but yeah, they discontinued the Utrecht brushes. I bought some of them, but so here now this is the MAC 162. Oh no, this is just a foam brush, just a 4-inch foam. And I think here this time I only do 1 coat. But yeah, that's a 2-inch foam brush, which I'm good at using those. Great for blocking in local color and stuff. So I got all the white outlined. Now I'm doing his tongue too. I'm using the same the same color as the eraser as his tongue. Whenever you can do that, use the same color. Go ahead for it if you can get close. And here I took, put together a brown, kind of a tan brown color for the exposed wood of the pencil. And this 2-inch foam brush again. But yeah, I'm trying to get in really close so you guys can see it and try. I want these series of lessons to be more close in and stuff, and try to do them in either real time or only speed them up slightly so you can see what's happening. And then I have a darker version of that. I'm kind of just doing wet on wet. Sometimes the wet on wet takes longer, but it looks cool. It gives it a more kind of realism to it. And sometimes when I do wet on wet, I kind of just daub it, because sometimes if you do strokes and you try to blend it, it'll pick up on it. But not too bad here. I gotta have it come down different on the tip though. Yeah, there we go. This is a mist tin I got at Lowe's. It was $1.25, and it's perfect for the metal band on top of the eraser. And this one does cover in one coat. And again, I'm just using the 4-inch poly brush. Those things are great. And again, if you're new to the channel, you want to get the Polybrush brand. You don't want to get the cheap foam brushes. Sometimes you see them, they look just like the Polybrush brand, but they're not. And they're just kind of really floppy, the paint just like. But these are more stiff and kind of responsive. I got rid of most of my brushes when I moved, but I kept a few of these, but I think I have 1 or 2 left. I just keep washing them, right while I'm working too. Here I'm just going over the second coat of the eraser, and I left the white as a highlight. Sometimes I do that, especially like with hair and stuff. If I'm painting it black, I'll paint blue and then I'll leave part of it exposed and just leave the highlight of blue if I'm painting like black hair or something. And here I've got I'm kind of doing a dry brush sort of effect. I don't know if that pink was still wet. It might have still been wet. So it's kind of a dry brush, but also kind of a wet on wet. But not completely wet on wet, because I'm not blending the local color with the shadow color. Then I did the same thing on the tongue. I just used it as this shadow color. But now I'm going in, and this brush is the Colt Bowden brush. He gave me some brushes. They're called Flying Squirrel. It works pretty good for doing highlights and shadows and outlining and stuff. But yeah, I really miss the U-tip brushes I had. They were like a chisel tip. They were so cool. I used them for years in Portland, and then after a while they just discontinued them. So here I'm doing the same kind of idea that I did on the eraser. Sort of a blendery dry brush feel. And then I'm gonna do the shadow there. On stuff that's kind of more straight, I usually just use this is Oh, I think before I said I was using a 4-inch foam brush, but it was a 2-inch foam brush. This is the 1-inch foam brush. And I'm just kind of working it to make it match with the eraser on top. And I think I only do one coat of that one too. It's always different. Sometimes you do one coat, you do 2 coats. Depends on the colors. Depends on everything. You might want to put it on really thick so you don't need to do a second coat. But since I'm just doing these lessons, I can afford to experiment and do all kinds of stuff. Now I'm just doing some highlights. Cartoon highlights. But yeah, I'm trying to get close in on the image so you can see what I'm doing. But in a second here, well, I'll show you in a little bit. I mess up when I start outlining the eyeballs because I try to get too close. So here I use that gray, same thing on top, and did the thing on the pencil tip. And here I'm just using the orange. It's so fun to be able to just take my time and use these brushes to do the shadow colors and the outlining. It makes it a lot nicer. It gives it a cool feeling. You can see my pencil tattoo. Like usually when I do the shadow under like something like that band, I would just use a foam brush. But I am going to use a foam brush when I come down the side. You'll see. And I think I needed more paint in it too. It's kind of really thin. I flipped it over and there was more paint on the other side because you can see it's darker on the bottom. But then the bottom I made it too thick, so I think I come back with yellow to try to and then I just do the other lines. So it's still kind of broken up in 4 sections. I did the top there too. Yeah, that line on the left side is kind of weird. So I'm trying to clean it up with the yellow. The only one that would ever notice would probably be me. In cartoon land, people they don't care or notice the stuff like that usually. I don't know if you noticed on the eyes, I did go back in with some white because it's like there was too much blue. Hard to see, but this is the highlight. This is a really, really light yellow. I could have just used white for the highlight on the yellow too. Yeah, I gotta get it set up so I can get in closer too. Like, I want you guys to be able to see really close in. I had this wrist thing for my hand that I could put the GoPro on, but it just didn't look good. It looked weird. But also you can see how it skews the picture. Like the pencil tip is all squashed. Okay, this is where I screw up. I'm trying to do the eye, and because I'm thinking I want them to really see close, but I can't fit my hand in there, and so I go all wonky. I mean, usually it's really smooth and it's round. So I have to go back over it, but I end up leaving it because I just like, it's too much trouble. Now you can see the other side. It's just one nice stroke because I'm not trying to dodge the camera. Because when I did the other side, the camera was like just right there, and I was like hitting it. So I kind of screwed up his eyes a little. Oh well. See, I have to point it out to you. But from a distance it should be fine. And then now I'm back to just doing clean, thick and thin lines, just one stroke, because the camera is backed off. And if I have room, I can do that. I feel free and I don't feel, encumbered or whatever you call it, where it's like you're claustrophobic and it's like you're getting squashed. I'm moving the camera down because I'm going to work on the tongue now. A lot of my characters look the same. They usually have the same pose and whatever, the Mickey Mouse pose. And I just think it looks good. It's effective, and it's a very eye-catching 3/4 view. It grabs people's attention. But yeah, this guy's pretty simple, but he is effective. I love doing this one hand. It's just, it feels so good. It's so smooth. Now I'm back in shape here. Here we go. Woo! I'm always on that quest to get the, clean lines, and I love that 40s looking cartoony stuff, or Disney-esque, or MGM cartoons like Droopy the dog. Or that squirrel, what's his name? Screwball Squirrel. I did some pictures in my new ebook of Screwball Squirrel, like a version of him. I wonder if I'll get in trouble for copyright. You just got to get into the flow. I like doing this part. It's comfortable. So even though the blue is outlined all the way around and the black does cover up part of it, like right there, it still looks good. I still like doing it. And like I said before, I can afford to do that now. I have the time, because I'm just doing one single character. And I'm hoping these videos will be beneficial for you guys. It looked really cool before I put the black line on it, because it's all blendery and stuff. But once I put the black line, it just sort of doesn't look as good. It's been a long day. It's pretty late. It's about 11 o'clock on a Saturday. I've been busy all day working on this. Well, off and on, I was doing other things too, cooking, cleaning. Now here I decide I just don't like the way it looks, so I'm gonna paint it in. Well, first I do this, but I'm gonna go back to the pencil lead. It looks really weird to me. So I decide I'm just gonna paint this sucker in. But I do leave a little gray, just a tiny sliver of gray for a highlight. But then I did forget, I should have put a highlight on the pencil, the wood part of the pencil too, but I didn't. Right along here. This is all the way up where I should have put the highlight, but I didn't. So these are the 3 brushes I'm using. I think that's a 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch. Those are the MAC 162. And then the smaller brush, I'm not sure what brush that is. It might be a leftover U-Trek brush, but I'm not sure. But it's like a chisel tip. That's for the finer, more finer outline. But for the bigger outline like that, I'm using a 1/4 inch. And now I'm switching over to, I think this is a 1/2 inch MAC 162 for like outlining kind of more straight lines and stuff. And then I can get like, turn it sideways because it's a flat, and I can get these big bold lines. Or if I turn it sideways like this, I can get really clean thin lines. How do you like my camera work? So you can see I'm going flat along the top. I'm going to go flat on the top and flat on the side, like just on the end. See how clean that is? Nice clean thin edge, and then I pull it flat. I just pull it down. It goes from thin on top, and then I pull it down to flat on the side, and it just gives it a lot more flair. It looks better. Sometimes I do that. I'm like, making sure I can pull the line and get it straight. I want to try and get it straight, or at least close the first time, because I can come back and go over it a little, but it's really cool if you can just pull a line and do it the first time. I think if I studied pinstriping, I'd probably be pretty good at it after a while. Probably could learn in about a year or 2. I wouldn't be the best at it, but I could learn to do it because I do have some control with my hands pulling lines. There's a little bit of yellow sliver on the left side. In the left side, I think later on I scratched that off. But we're almost finished. I think I went back to the 1/4 inch brush. And then now I'm going, this is the like the chisel tip, I don't know what they call them, riggers, or I always forget. It's just hard to find a good brush, I really wanted to try that Mac Meyer brush. All right, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. See you next time.